It's time for another cake challenge tutorial. Over in my online cake community called the Cherry Brigade, they have been voting on the theme of the challenge, which was Storybook. This time they had a choice of mood board to work from, the light side and a dark side. I was a little short on time this time around, so I created this sitting princess yet to write a story of her own. Don't forget to stick around until the end of the video to see everybody's entries and vote for your favourite in the comments below. Firstly, I'm starting with some lilac sugar paste with Tylo powder added. This is just how I make all my models, but feel free to use modelling paste, which is probably a bit easier to use. I'm rolling it into a soft cone shape and squashing the thinner end out for her bum. The rest I'm squashing down with my hands to make the bottom of her dress. You'll see from the side there's room for her legs, and then it tapers off just to the material of her skirt. I'm then just slightly pointing out the ends. Flip this over and mark in a line where the bend in her knees would be. This just makes it easier to bend the shape and put it into place. Usually I make my models straight onto the cakes, but I'm using a spare dummy today. Run a kebab stick down to hold the skirt in place and create support for her torso. I'm then just using my thumb to gently mark out her legs. You can go as detailed or as simple as you like. I'm just using a Dresden tool to mark in very basic lines for pleats. I've then just secured my dummy onto a larger block to stop it from tipping over of the weight on one edge. This is why I like to make mine on real cake. Here I have some brown paste and I'm adding Tylo powder to it to stiffen it up. You'll see it's still a little bit too pliable and I want it to set a bit harder, so I'm dipping it in again and kneading in some more. It's good to learn the different feels of your sugar paste and you'll soon get the hang of how much you need. Roll it into a crack-free ball and start thinning out the centre. The larger half we are slowly going to tease up into her chest and finally the very top up into her neck. I'm just going to let you watch as I do fiddle around quite a bit. You can also add more detail by running your finger down the middle of her back for shoulder blades. Once you're happy with the shape, chop roughly where her hips are and slide it down the kebab stick, merging the body towards the skirt. Also trim down the neck and add in a collarbone. Put water where you want the dress material to stick, and I'm just wrapping this thin piece of paste around the torso. Push it into all the contours and trim in the V-neck pattern. Again, you can make your dress design as elaborate or as simple as you like. We are now going to add in a sash in a pale lilac, which is just a thin strip of paste joined around the back and some deep lines pushed in with a Dresden tool for pleats. I've then cut two smaller strips of paste to use as the tails coming from a bow. For a quick cheats bow, push small pieces of sugar paste into soft triangles that are a little chunky along the outer edge. These are going to be the 2 loops. Then take your Dresden tool and push in and open up the loop part of the bow. Add in a little crease to the middle and push the triangles together on the back of the dress. Finally, cover the centre with a small tapered piece of paste, again adding in material pleats. For her arm, I've started with a sausage of brown paste. This still has Tylo powder added, and I'm squashing down one end into a hand. Mark in an angle to cut a thumb and chop off the rest straight so it looks like a mitten. Gently pull out and roll the thumb to make it a little longer and thinner. If it starts getting too long, just pinch some off and keep rolling. Flatten and straighten out the finger area before cutting in 3 slits. Again, gently pull apart the fingers, rolling them longer and thinner. Just take a look at your own hand and you'll see your second finger from your thumb will most likely be the longest. Just follow this rule for your sugar version, again nipping off any bits of paste that start getting too long, especially from the little finger. Your hand will look much better once you start rolling in the wrist. Gently roll this and push the thumb lower than your fingers, again looking how your own hand behaves when you move it. I'm now gently rolling the paste between my fingers to make the arm a little thinner to match the wrist. Chop the arm to the right length and stick it to your shoulder area with water. I'm then supporting the arm and pushing in where I want it to bend and gently teasing in an elbow before securing the hand to the dress with water. I'm now making another arm in the same way. This one is going to go straight down and rest on the surface of your cake or your dummy. If you're using modelling paste, you may be able to blend your shoulder seam if it bothers you. Not so great with Tylo powder added. Just to add something extra to her dress, I rolled out a tapered sausage in the lilac and wrapped it around the back of the neck to join the V-necked front. Now you'll notice I never ever give you weights of the paste I'm using. It's much better to learn by holding it up. Here, where the head looks to be the right size, after we've squashed it and played around with it adding features, the head now looks much bigger. Pinch some off, squash it back out a little and you'll see it's a much better fitting size. It's always better to learn to do this by eye, otherwise you're going to depend on weights for everything you make where they're not always available. Firstly, I'm marking in the recess where the eyes will sit and pushing in a small bump for the nose. I'm then marking in either side of the nose so I know where to put my smile. I'm marking in the base to make sure I still have a chin when I've finished. I'm using a ball tool as a guide for my mouth, joining them up with a slit and opening the bottom and top lips. With the flat end of the Dresden tool, I'm then marking in 2 humped lip shapes from the top piece of paste. With the same tool, I am gently defining around the nose and defining the cheeks around the mouth. You can almost see the bottom lip already, it just needs defining by pushing the paste in underneath it. Smooth out any harsh tool lines with your finger and define the chin. Now to make her smile, we are pushing in deep marks on either side of the mouth, almost like dimples. And we're doing the same for her nostrils. I have these handy plastic eye tools. It's just a double-ended plastic tool with different shapes on depending on what shape of eye you would like. I have gone for this pointed lemon shape, which all you have to do is push into the paste to leave an impression. You can either push them in deep and fill them with white paste, or just mark them in gently like I'm doing and paint the insides with white paint. This is just white dust mixed with water. Now, I do like to keep my cherry mails as surprises, but they're taking a while to arrive before I can send them. So if you're in the cherry tier, please do not buy a set of these because you will have some on the way very soon. Sorry to spoil the surprise, I just don't want you to end up with duplicate tools. I'm then going in with dark brown for the iris, black in the centre, and then the white balls for catch lights. I've then got my black paint and a fine paintbrush, and I'm painting on a little bit of eyeliner across the top and the bottom, the illusion of an eyelid and some eyelashes. I'm also going in with eyebrows, which I'm never too good at getting them to match. I've gone for a pinky red gel on the lips for her lipstick. Swap over to a dry, fluffy brush and add some pink, sparkly lustre, which looks a bit like highlighter. Chop down the kebab stick and slide the head down into position. The ears are very small semicircles, which are stuck to the side of the head with water and then further pressed on with a Dresden tool to mark the middle of the ear. I wanted to give her a bit of an edgy haircut, so I'm curling up these pointed pieces of black paste and I'm placing them all up the centre of the head, a little bit like a mohawk. This is just plain black sugar paste with no Tyler powder added, so I'm able to twist and shape them better without them breaking. Fill in the rest of the shorter hair with black paint. Now you can always stop here if you like, but to go with our edgy princess look, I'm rolling out some very thin pieces of paste and using them as earrings, just sticking them with water. Also little round balls for her earrings, necklace and matching rings. The necklace was just painted with grey paint, as are the rings. And that's it. It's been a long time since I have sat down and made a model like this one, so I'm a bit out of practice. Hopefully it will still help some of you out there, whether you struggle with hands, faces or small details. Now please do have a look at the next images, which are all the amazing creations by some of my brigadiers. It's wedding season, we've had a heat wave, some of my international members have had floods, so for a lot of them to pull their pieces off and still enter them was amazing. I'll show you the mood board again that they worked off, and please leave the letter of your favourite in the comments below. If you want to join us for the next one, which the theme is currently being voted on right now, you'll find the link to the brigade in the description box. Thanks guys, see you next week.